All right, welcome to another episode of Ghost Coded. Today we're going to be going over the mechanics of n8n and diving a little bit into what it looks like to build an n8n, as well as tips and tricks that I wish I would have known when I first got started. Now this example is pretty amazing. This is going to be a Google scraper that will help you build a lead list of companies in a certain area, certain profession, dump it straight into Google Sheets, and you can do it 100% free. Let's jump right into it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is look at a little bit what we're doing here. All right, let's see this thing in action. So first off, you come on in here. What this is going to do, this is going to say, like I said before, it's going to pull in leads out of the wazoo for us to um, extract information from the companies that we're looking for a certain area, and get their phone number, their email, their address, whole 9 yards, all from Google Maps. Okay, so right here, what we're going to do is we're going to hit this execute workflow and we're going to see it happen. Okay, so right now this is using an API called SERPA API. This is a web scraping tool that allows you to not have to go through the technicalities of scraping everything on your own. We're going to let this thing finish up, and once it does, we'll let the automation continue. All right, here we go. Looks like it's finishing up. And just like that, we have our leads. Let's go over to our Google spreadsheet, going down to results. There we have it. All these companies, we got title, phone number, website, rating, reviews, type, address, price, the whole shebang. All this raw, beautiful data. Okay. Okay, so if we come in here, there's a couple of items. Really nice thing about n8n is it will allow you to view the migration of your data, the whole process, see how it goes, even how many times each node kind of gets hit. And it's just it's called flowgramming, right? It's very fluid, very easy to use. It's not very complicated. You can kind of see how many items are being passed in between each node. So let's dive right into a little bit about what this is doing. So this is a trigger. Every n8n node will have a trigger. Every n8n workflow will have a trigger, and that trigger is what starts this, right? And then as it starts, what this is doing is it's pulling in. So we come on over here. So we see that we have basically kind of the main brain of the operation is this spreadsheet. So we have our URL, which we were able to just pull over here, dentist in Dallas. And if we just take this URL, paste it in right here, and then we have a status, okay? So once we have that all set up, then what it does is it actually comes in here, and this is a special node that will help you be able to extract certain, what you're actually needed to be able to make the API called the SERPA. SERPA then runs it, it returns our data, and then we continue going through until it keeps flipping through pages. So we just keep getting more data and more data. Then we're able to extract some information, split those things out, remove empty values if there were any, and then we just transform the data into the right format, remove duplicates, and then we add it to our sheet. So let's dive in to see what that actually looks like building it from scratch. All right, so like I said before, the first thing we're going to do is you have in every n8n, and just a quick little note, the way I was able to open that up without having to do anything else, just hit the tab button. It will open up what triggers. Then you search a schedule trigger because you want this to run every so often. So let's say I want this to run every single day. You can put what time you want it to run. So I'm going to say I want this to run, let's just say 10 a.m. every single morning. And that is the beginning of every workflow. Okay, so whenever you hit that, you get that right, you get that schedule trigger right there. The next thing you do is you come on over here. We're going to grab a Google Sheets. Okay, so and then what you can do within each node, you can actually get perform certain actions. We're going to get rows in a sheet, and then what you'll do is you'll need to set up this credential. I'll probably have some videos on this later, but for now you can probably just go look it up on YouTube. Or what you'll do is you click this create new credential, and you'll need to fill out this information if you're doing self-hosting. If you're not self-hosting, if you're just on the n8n cloud, then this should be taken care of for you. You'll just have to log into your Google account. If you need help filling these things out, go over here to this open docs, and n8n will walk you through the whole entire process. I'll probably get to that in another video, but for now, you know where to find it. Okay, so we're gonna come on over here and get back to my account. So you click the credential that you want to connect with. You know, the really nice thing about this too, if you're thinking about it from a business perspective, when you're able to have these nodes where you have several accounts that be connected to it, which is really nice. So you don't have to be locked down to one account per n8n account. You can actually have multiple. So let's say you're running an agency, you can have several of your clients' accounts connected to this and not have to worry about it, right? So once we have that, then so it has a couple of things pre-built for us. We already clicked on the get row. So we'll have the row to get, then we'll go to document, and this will be all of your documents that you have. So we're gonna click on Google Maps Scraper, and then we're gonna come down here and add your search URL. So notice how that is this tab right here. Okay, so after you add your sheet, then we're gonna come over to the filters. We're gonna come down here, click on the status, because we want the status column. So notice over here the status. We don't want to pull these in because we've already ran them, but we do want to pull in this blank one and any subsequently that we just want to pull in that happened, we've put in since the day has started. So once we have that, we come over here, click go, and then notice how this has one item now populated. So if we click on this, this is what data looks like on n8n. It's really fascinating because you see what the input is, and then you can see what the output is. And you can look at it in different ways. You can look at it as a JSON, you can look at it as a schema. So this will just kind of make it be a little bit more user friendly. Then you can come over here to the table and you can also see it in that way as well. So there's different views you can see it, and you can see, hey, yeah, this one for sure does have a status that is blank. Okay, so now that we have pulled in that row, the next thing we need to do is we need to start working on extracting the right information, because all of this URL isn't needed for it to work with the SERPA API, which we'll get to in a second. We need to have the right kind of data. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here to get a set node. The set node is really good for setting variables and making things a little bit more intuitive and easy to use. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to come on over here and we're going to make the first variable is going to be keyword. And then what we're going to do is what you can do is you come over here, see this URL. Really nice thing about n8n, I'll show this right here, is you click and drag, it populates that and you can see what it's populated as, okay? So notice how there's two things down here. This is fixed and this is expression. Fixed means that is what's going to be the variable. So if this was like Oklahoma, if that is our keyword, then that will be the keyword no matter what. But if you want it to be an expression, then you get these curly braces. Then there's a couple things you can do. But we're going to grab the JSON, which is just the input. Then we're going to say dot notation, and we're going to say URL, and that pulls in that. That's kind of the more technical way, or you can just click and drag, pull it on over, and you have your URL. Now we are going to do a couple of other things that will make this make a little bit more sense for our workflow. So you can just copy and paste this, pause and do what exactly later here. But what we do basically is we do a fancy lookup on that string, and we look to find basically this little section, okay? Because that's what we want. We want that dentist plus in plus QSIM, okay? The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a variable called geo, and this one same thing. We're going to extract something from that URL, and it's just going to be looking for a specific pattern to find these geo coordinates. And once we have that, we are finished. Okay, so we're actually just going to get rid of this one right here altogether, and then we have our the two pieces of information that we need. So if we come on over here, another thing is as you're going through your workflow, you can actually execute each step at a time. So notice how now, where we had this kind of jumbled up JSON that looked kind of wonky and scary, now we have this clean, broken out thing that all we need is the keyword and the geo. Okay. All right. So then the next step in our workflow is actually interacting with the SERPA API. So we're going to jump over here to SERPA. What you'll need to do is you'll go to serpaapi.com, and then from here you can see that there's a bunch of, they specialize in Google search. And then what's really nice is their pricing. You get 250 searches per month for free. So you just get started right here, click get started, and then it should take you to the whole sign up process. This is your private IP key. By the time that I have this video released, this API key will be destroyed, so you don't have to worry about stealing and using it. But make sure you keep this, for those who are not familiar with APIs, This key is very important because if somebody gets access to it, they can basically run things on your account without you being able to stop them. So just keep this in mind. We'll come back to this in a second. This is what we'll need to make the whole API work. All right, so then what we do is come over here. We're going to click that plus button. We're going to look for HTTPS. Click on this right here. And this is going to be a generic HTTPS request, which basically just means we're going to be talking with the internet. And the way we're going to do this is we're going to grab their URL. Come on over here. We're going to paste in this one. Okay. So what you do is you come over here, go to the Supra dashboard, and you go to documentation. And then you can see this is the first one. It's the most commonly used. So there's a couple of API parameters, geolocation, stuff like this that is just not too fun to read through. But I'll break it down pretty simply on what exactly you'll need to make this whole entire workflow work. But know that anytime you're working with APIs, you'll need to go to the documentation and read and understand what's going on so that you can properly communicate with the service you're wanting to use. And the reason we're using SERPA is because they specialize in scraping Google Maps to make it easy on us. They just send us the data we want. Another thing in n8n, you can actually come in here and name these nodes. So we're going to click on this and press space. And we're just going to call this SERPA API dash, scrape Google Maps URL. Okay. Sorry, there's only one A. There you go. Rename. All right. So now we have a name. We have it ready. The first thing we do is we're going to keep this as the get method. We're going to paste in this URL. And then we're going to come in here. So again, we can add authentication. We're going to say predefined. And SERPA actually already has a credential that we'll need. And I already have mine in here. But basically what you'll do is you create a new credential. You'll go over to your dashboard. Copy this. Come on over here. Paste it in. Click save. Tested, connected, tested successfully, and then you're ready to rock and roll. Okay. So now that we have that set up, we come in here to the send query parameters. Okay, so some of the things that we'll need to do is we need to play nicely with. We want to communicate with SERPA how they want us to communicate. So we're come in here and we're going to paste in a couple of their things. So the engine, we want to have Google Maps. We're going to add another parameter. This is the actual query. So it's just Q. And then we actually have to have the value. So notice here, what we're going to do is we're going to do the search parameters. Here we're going to look at this is pasted in. So this is just fancy language basically saying if this doesn't exist, then use this. And the reason we're doing that is because we will loop over a handful of different things. We'll break that down in another video. Just for now, know that this will get us the right kind of query. Okay. And then there's another parameter which is 2 vertical braces. And we come in here and we paste that exact same value for the geo. Okay. And sorry, this is actually LL. It's LL, just like that. Latitude and longitude. And then we're going to come in here for the type. We're going to paste in type. This is a search. And then there's the last variable, which is start. And we paste in this value again. If there is no start, because notice over here there's no start, basically it says if this doesn't exist, then set it to 0. We want to start at 0. All right, I know that was a lot. I'll probably make another video breaking down, HTTPS requests themselves, but for now, just know we have now configured this to be primed and ready. Notice how we pulled this in. We see that this is a keyword for dentist in Houston, and we have our geolocation right there. Okay. Now that we have that ready, we are going to leave it for now. We're not going to test it quite yet. The really nice thing about this is in our settings, in every n8n node, you can set settings, and we can come over here on error. We're actually going to have this to be a continue using error output. So now notice now that as it has a success, it also has an error. Okay, so if something were to go wrong, what we'll want to do is we'll want to come over here and do a Sheets node. We'll do Google. Yeah, we have Sheets like that. And we'll do update row. And what we'll do is, so we want to update. The reason we want to update this is because notice how this is a check mark. What if it fails? We want to be able to know that it failed. So what's going to happen is we're going to come over here and we are going to do add search result. and we want to match on the URL itself. Okay, so this is basically saying, hey, how do I know which route you want me to update? And then which will be, if we come over here, we will be able to see that. We'll basically be able to do, this is what the expression will be. It's basically going back to the beginning. We need to name this properly. There we go, rename. Okay, notice how it comes in green. So what this is saying is go back to this one, and that is what we're going to match on, and then the status will be a big ol' X. Okay, just like that. So if it were to fail, that's what happens. Okay, now that this is done, then what we're going to do is we're going to hit this play button, and we're going to see it run. Okay, so it did run successfully. Okay, successful branch. So we have search metadata. We have a lot of information. Okay, so now that we have that primed and ready, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to come over here and we're going to create a JavaScript. So we're going to run a little bit of code because we need to be able to extract the right kind of information. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, copy and paste this, and paste in this code right here. Okay, we're going to execute this step. So notice how it passed through and we got the right kind of things. So basically what we were doing here is we were extracting the next page if there was another page. Okay, so we're going to say extract next start value. Okay, so this is, again, with how SERPA is it sends it back in pages, just like whenever you search the Google Maps, you want to be able to have, the pages not just stop on the first page, but keep going as the pages continue, so you get some more leads. Okay. Then what we'll have is a simple if statement, and what we're going to do is we're going to come on over here, and we're going to look for search. This one is schema. We're going to say we're going to look for search parameters. Then we're going to look for the start. Okay. And if this is empty, if it is not empty, then we're good. And we also want to see, oh, this is a number. So if it is not empty, then we will continue. And then also, if there is a next page. Okay. So this is, so string is not empty. So basically it's just saying, if there's another page, then continue. So we're going to name this continue if loop is complete. And it is only complete when these two things are empty. Okay. So if it is, so if it is not empty, so if these are both not empty, then we will continue over here. If they are, then we'll move forward. So let's see what happens if we click plus. Then this green true branch will continue, and then it will continue looping over. Okay. For the sake of this exercise, we will let this run all the way through. Okay, so we're going to click go. So notice how I hit that. Now it's running this again. And notice how in this one we had this JSON search parameters. We'll look at that just a second once this is completed running through. So notice how it's running 10 times now, 11 times. So it keeps looping through because it keeps extracting that. If we go to our dashboard, notice how this is 76. We refresh. We've run now, a couple times. Okay, so as ran 17 times or 17 pages. Let's actually look at this. So if we look over here, so notice how it shows you the actual runs. So we can see what all of these things were. And then what we can do is we can come on over here and we can see what this was exporting. So remember, whenever it was first coming in, it was looking for this JSON geo. But after the fact, this was passing the search parameters. So come over here, search parameters, and we're looking for the start, which is that 320, and then the LL, which is that, and the Q. So this is what allowed it to loop and continue looping through until it's finished. Okay, if we go over to this run 7, we look for this pagination next. So if we come to the SERPA, okay, just on SERPA, here, pagination down here, there's no next. Okay, so that's what broke this, and now we're going on this false branch. Okay. Whew. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab another JavaScript code node, and we're going to delete that. We want to hook this up, wire this up to this next one. Okay, in this one, what we're going to do is it's going to be a merge all values from SERPA API. So basically, now that we have gone, it's the 17. There's 17 loops, right? So there's 17 executions. We kind of have to combine all those together, and so we're going to have some special logic that what it will do is you don't have to really understand what this is doing, but basically it's going to take all of the items that are found in that scraper and it's going to combine all of them into one beautiful array. Beautiful, all data. So you can see all data, and it has a couple of different data points because it combined all 17 of those runs. Okay. All right. So once that is completed, it's all in one array, and we need to split that out. So this is another thing you can do in n8n. You can split it out like this, and we're going to drag this one in right here, click execute, and like that, we now have it all split out to be 17 different items. Okay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we want to, so a lot of times, so you'll be manipulating data, moving data. One of the other things that you'll want to do is you'll want to filter data. Okay, so for this instance, we want to make sure that we don't have any empty sets going into, so we clean up everything. So we're going to go over here and we're going to look at this object, and we want to say if it is not empty, and we're going to grab in the just the JSON right here. So we're going to go in here. We're going to do we're going to do an expression, and we just want to put the JSON just like that. Okay. So it's going to pull in that original one right here. So we're going to pull in that object, execute. So just like that. So what it does is it pulls in each of these, the arrays. It's just going to pull them in. It's basically just going to keep the ones that are not empty. Okay. Long story short, keep the ones that are not empty. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to transform the data in the right format, because a lot of times with data you need to manipulate it, you need to get it, but you also need to transform it into a format that is a little bit more understandable, more usable. And so just like that, we're going to use another code node, paste this code in here, and what this is going to do is it's going to grab all of it, and then it's going to create a little function. It's just going to merge all the data and filter them out how they're supposed to. So again, you don't need to know how this works. You just need to know that you can do it. And I'll be providing this link to the code itself in the link below. So don't worry about knowing everything, but just know that what this is doing is it is essentially wrapping this data up into a nice and neat little thing. As you can notice right here, 340 items rather than that 17, because we're actually extracting everything from the 17 pages. So we're going to change this into transform data in the right format. Oof, all right, we are almost done. So now that we have the data in the right format, okay, now that we have that in the right format, what we're going to do is we're going to go and remove duplicates, okay? So what we're going to do is come in here, click selected fields, and we're actually just going to make sure that this place ID is not duplicated. Actually, probably not. What we're going to do, yeah, we're going to do place ID, hit execute step. All right, so notice how we went from 340 to 277, because sometimes, on pages, they might have the same one pop up a couple of times. So we went ahead and just removed all those, skimmed it out to have a lean set of deduplicated companies to reach out to. Okay, and the last step, we're going to come in here and do Sheets. We're going to grab Google Sheets. We're going to do append or update. So the difference between append and update is if it already exists, we don't want to introduce any duplicate values. So we're just going to come in here, click on Google Scraper and results. And then we got to select the one that we want to match on. So if it already exists, we don't want it to exist again. So we're actually going to do the place ID again. One over here, place ID. Okay, we pulled, and so this is the magic of n8n. Okay, this allows you to easily look at data and pull it in, and then it automatically translate and maps it that way. There's ways so you can do map each column manually, or you could do map automatically. The caveat to this, just like the same right here, make sure the income and name fields are they named the exact same as the columns in Google Sheets, just to make sure that it is all translated correctly. For the sake of the video, I'm just going to show you what it looks like if you were to just kind of drag and drop. So click, title, pull it in. Then you'd probably need to come down here and find the phone. You can search, so we can say phone. Beautiful. Let's grab this right here. Come up here. We're going to do website. Grab this. Ooh, website. Do ratings, because sometimes you don't want to have to match these exactly, or sometimes your data is a little different. So you just want to be able to have a way that will allow you to click and drag and be able to look it up without having to do the work on the make sure they're the exact same. You can just have it to where we just map it like this. So I'm going to speed through this and get this done for you. All right, with that, we're done. Click over here, boom, fire that away. Let that run. And it is completed. Check it out. All that is now loaded in. Last step. So remember, we need to make sure that it stays updated. Come on over here to Sheets, Update. And then we're going to come over here, click on Get Our Right Account, click on the Google Maps Scraper, add your URLs here, match on the URL. And what we're going to do is actually come all the way over here to grab this first one right here. I'm going to come over here, change this to first. And then the status will be this nice green check mark. Just grab a check mark emoji. And then just like that, we click execute step. And we now have a full working workflow on how to scrape Google Maps and be able to have it all put in place. All right, hope you loved the video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to hit that like button, subscribe for more content. I'll be hoping to put out more of these walkthrough videos. And look, they're not gonna be pretty. Sometimes it doesn't have to be. I think if you want to see what it's actually like to build these workflows, then you kind of got to get into the weeds, see what it looks like, get your feet, wet, actually trying out, different workflows, seeing what's great, what's work, what doesn't work, etc. One thing that you can do is actually go over to n8n workflows. So if we go n8n templates, click on this right here, and this will give you thousands, almost 7,000 workflow templates that you can get started with. Remember, it's important to not just copy and paste, but to understand using these things as building blocks and then adapt them to your circumstance, a client's circumstance, or a position at your job. And then also give a plug to my own website. So if you're looking for more personalized coaching, or if you want to join the cohort that I'll be doing monthly, where we get together with 50 individuals, founders, employees, whatever you are, you want to learn more about n8n, how to build them, how to network about them, how to sell them. That's what a cohort over here is. If you want to get my time and my attention to help you with a given workflow, understand a little bit more how to make this business profitable, you can hop on and go one-on-one coaching. And then if you're one of those companies that want to really have an immersive experience of your team, be able to learn this valuable skill, you can also hop on and have an opportunity to have me come out and train your team for you guys. Well, I hope that video was helpful. Hopefully that was able to break down a little bit of what n8n is all about. I know it was a pretty in-depth example, but now you understand what's going on. Also, we'll drop the link below to be able to have the JSON if you want to just copy and paste it and have it as well. Happy for it, and stay tuned for more videos like this one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one.